All right, and I guess we're live now. All right. Never done this before. Don't know how this works. Guard your privacy. Okay, it was trying to warn me to, I don't know, be careful, I guess. I'm not sure if you all can hear me or not. I'm trying out my lapel mic. If it's not working, then maybe it's trying to record through the normal thing, and it's not. So, yeah. Hi, everyone. How are we doing today? I'm Nathan Fan, in case you didn't know, the Magic Asian Man, and I am primarily, I guess most people will call me a magician. However, I consider myself a magical entertainer. I utilize sleight of hand, singing, and storytelling, as well as stand up comedy and celebrity impressions. Uh, Most of my work for the last year has been performing aboard cruise ships. And I don't know if you heard, but there's something going around that prevents cruise ships from taking off. So basically, for the next minimum month to 2 months, all cruise lines are shut down, which means that I have a lot of time now to just kind of work on me and my other uh, aspects of my creative life. And so for a little while there, I was actually, when I was about 19, somewhere between 19 and 24, I became relatively well known on YouTube as a blogger named Sung Hero. And I would just post video blogs or vlogs, I guess they call them. I don't know if they still use that term anymore. And just talk about my life and that sort of thing. And so I thought that I should become a little bit more active and work on other things in addition to my physical performance of magic. But in this case, so I sat down, and in order to kind of force myself to be uh, productive, I guess, and to do stuff, I decided to try and create something every single day. And the best way for me to do that is to get excited about something and to give it a name. And so I'm sure Talkback Tuesdays already exists, but I decided to do that in this regard as well. Talkback Tuesdays. Now, if you're not familiar with the term Talkback is usually it's basically a Q&A session that's held after a theatrical production. When I was doing theater very regularly, we would occasionally have those talkbacks. So, we'd be performing, and it would be a matinee, and the college students would come in and watch the show, and afterwards they'd ask us questions about the whole process and the costumes and things like that. So I thought I would kind of do that here on YouTube. I may go to Facebook. I'm not quite sure. I just want to try this out because I know I've got more subscribers here on YouTube than I have followers on Facebook. But I thought I would try it out. I'm realizing part of the flaw of having a Talkback Tuesday is that if nobody asks me any questions or talks, there's no one watching, there's no one to talk back to. I suppose I could just talk back to myself, but that would be very, very rude. Hi. If anybody has any questions or anything, feel free to tune in and ask them. Let's see. And I'm just basically trying to figure out kind of how this all works because I've not done this before. If anybody has anything they'd like to say, feel free to tune in and or to ask the question. I honestly don't know how to do that. Okay, there's a mute microphone button. I'm learning all this for the first time. Oh, it looks like, oh, look, there are fun filters. Cool. All right. It is St. Patrick's Day. Happy St. Patty's Day. Paddy's Day. It's St. Paddy's Day, even though it's St. Patrick, I believe. And then what is this? Top chat. Oh, there we go. Live chat. All messages are available. That's what I want to hit. Good. So now anybody who asks anything, I will see straight away, and I do not want anything there. No, go away. Go away. All right, that's fine. So I think I should also implement some sort of way for people to ask things online, and then I can answer them on videos as well. Here we go. Oh, people are asking. Let's see. Oh, okay, cool. Awesome. People just commenting on the fact that I want to do these Talkback Tuesdays. So, in addition to Talkback Tuesdays, what else am I going to start instituting? Well, I wrote it down and then I forgot to keep it up. So let me pull that information because I don't have a guy in the chair to do this for me. Let's see. So here we go. So Talkback Tuesdays, and I'm going to try to do something every single day. That might be very over ambitious of me, but I'd rather be over ambitious and fail than be under ambitious and succeed, if that makes any sense. So we will have Word Wednesdays, so that will be more of for me to uh, do written word stuff. So this will be poetry and short stories and things like that. I may even read excerpts of the novel that I'm writing right now. So the Word Wednesdays, and hopefully I will force me to be creative and write new things. Maybe even bits of screenplays, stage plays, things like that. Throwback Thursdays. I think Throwback Thursdays will give me a bit of a break, and I will post something from my past. So whether it is an excerpt of a stage play or a musical that I was in, or maybe something, a short film that I worked on a long time ago, that sort of thing. So Throwback Thursdays, good. And then Fashion Fridays. So I'm a bit of a dandy, or people say that I'm dapper. I dress like this regularly. I wear usually a suit and a nice dress shirt, unless it's like really warm. I'll wear something a little bit more laid back, like a not quite a polo shirt, but something like that. Still relatively dressy. And then I usually wear a necktie or a bow tie, and also a hat as well. It's not terribly uncommon for me to wear. I really just love the way that people used to dress back in basically any time before kind of like the 70s. We had the kind of 50s and 60s era that lots of people kind of identify with, like the Mad Men style. And then before that, we had, 40s had this cool style that came about as a result of having to, as a result of the war, 30s depression, but in 20s, all that really, really cool fashion style, especially the evening if you're going out. You always wore a tux, that sort of thing. And there's a difference between black tie and white tie and all that stuff. So I really like that. Fridays, I'm going to try to post really quick tips about fashion. So it'll be just a little tiny thing like, hey, folks, this is the difference between having your sleeve be the right length and the wrong length. Doesn't it look better to have it the right length? Cool, peace out. Just that kind of thing. And then Sleight of Hand Saturdays, since I am known primarily as a magician. On Saturdays, I will endeavor to show you something that doesn't require an audience participant, or maybe I'll invite an audience over and kind of have the show, do a little tiny mini show somewhere at a table, do some close-up magic with a couple of live people here, or just stuff that works really well just as a spectator watching. So we'll do that on Saturdays. That'll be Sleight of Hand Saturdays. Sundays will be Singing Sundays. So I will sing something. I will, play a track, or I'll sit down at the piano and I'll sing something, maybe something I'm working on, something that I've always wanted to sing, a role I've always wanted to play, that sort of thing. I'm also working on creating a entire kind of concert that I would be able to perform on cruise ships and things like that, so that in addition to having a magic show, you can also go see me do just a singing show. So I might kind of workshop some of that material on this. So that's Singing Sundays. And then Mondays will be Mixology Mondays. One of my great passions is really classy cocktails, just booze, but not like just drinking to get drunk, but I enjoy the history and the trivia behind a lot of cocktails. You notice that behind me here, I've got a few drinks. This is my whole collection. This is just the stuff that I drink the most often, so I keep it within arm's reach here. So I'll teach about how to make like a proper martini, not like a James Bond martini, none of this shaken not stirred stuff. The more of a like a classic martini, or some of my favorite recipes, something that I'm just discovering, something we might learn together, or old favorites, that sort of thing. So that'll be Mixology Mondays, and then we'll go back to Talkback Tuesdays. I realize starting with the Talkback Tuesday when I have no followers this year. Yes, hi Jay Green. You said, ooh, proper martini. Yes, a proper martini. And now I do know that some people prefer vodka over gin, and then there are purists who say that it's not a martini unless it's a gin martini. I will say that from time to time I do appreciate a nice dirty vodka martini. But if it's going to be vodka based, it's got to be dirty, because the point of vodka is that it's very clean, right? It's supposed to have kind of as little flavor as possible. So who's someone tuned in? Jay knows nothing about drink, says Jessica Harkin. Hi Jessica, weren't you going to the hospital? Aren't you not feeling well? Uh, and Jay says Jess knows nothing about drink. Actually, I'm going to go out on a limb and say both of you know nothing about drink. But that's the point of this, is that I can teach people about drinking classily, so that if they haven't. Oh, okay, gotcha. Teach people about drinking and classy drinks and that sort of thing. So proper martinis, old fashions, things like that. Well, you can talk a little bit. There are lots of channels that talk about that sort of thing, but I would like to just talk a little bit about what I know and what I enjoy, and just kind of share that love because I do like that. So I take it then that you can hear me, and I have no idea whether or not it's coming from this microphone or whether it's coming from the microphone that's on the on my mobile. I tried doing this off of my laptop, but it looked really grainy and weird, so I just decided to set this up. Thank you, Jay. I appreciate that you letting me know that you can hear me. Awesome. Okay, so I'm gonna do something really quickly. Does it sound really weird when I do this? That way I know whether or not it's coming from this or whether it's coming from that. And nobody has said anything. So I assume at some point that does sound weird. Okay, cool. So that means that we're recording from here, which is good because that's so yes, it was probably like a kind of a thing. That was excellent. So I have no idea how long this video is going to last. I'm just going to keep on kind of talking, I guess. And if anybody wants to ask any questions, feel free to ask questions. That's why it's called Talk Back Tuesday, because you are allowed to ask questions, and I will talk back to you. Talk to you. 10 out of 10 impression of a microphone. Or the other impression of a microphone. That's the feedback on a microphone when you stand a little too close. Excellent. So, how's everyone doing? I'm really trying to kind of figure out what I'm going to do with my life for these next few months here. So for those of you who aren't tuned in earlier, basically, I am. Oh, somebody wants to hear Christopher Walken. Yes, I can. Yes, that is a thing that I can do. Not sure thing. So I don't know if you heard about this. I was gonna go take a cruise with my family, and SpaghettiOs. It looks like a can. Everything's cancelled. Oh no, maybe the ocean is dangerous. Somebody released the Kraken or something. I don't know, but all the ships, they're staying home. Nobody's going anywhere. Everyone's afraid, petrified to go outside. Luckily, I just live in upstate New York. I jog on my treadmill. I read scripts that they send to the internet. There's no germs. I mean, there might be viruses, but that's a computer virus, not a different type of virus. As far as I know, viruses from computers don't affect humans. Now, if you're an android, which is a robot that looks like a human, it's a different story. There might be some sort of cross contamination. She's in pain. Oh dear. All right. So if someone's in pain laughing, I might want to stop. But there you go. Yep. So what now? Anybody have any questions? Questions, comments, concerns? I'll field those right now. Anybody? Anybody? No, all right. That's fine. Yeah, I've got happy St. Paddy's Day once again. I was originally gonna go and hang out with some friends, and then we were like, oh, but it's St. Paddy's Day, which means that it's going to be crowded. There's going to be so many people everywhere. Drunk drivers abound, even though they're not supposed to do that sort of thing. So I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do this evening. I did wear green, as you can see, or I lovely. I'm going to try to keep that away from hitting this thing. Green bow tie. I haven't worn this in quite a while, and I've got this really nice kind of like soft mint green shirt that I decided to pair with this this brown waistcoat and suit. Best attempt at an Irish accent, maybe. My Irish accent is not amazing. It sounds like, what does my Irish accent sound like? My Irish accent is kind of like designed to sound like someone out of Dublin, or Cork, or something like that. It's just kind of a very generalised sort of like a Southern Ireland, from what I've been told. That's my best kind of shot at an Irish accent. I would love to try to like get a handle on something like Belfast, because Belfast is lots of like words get stretched out, and like so. Oh, thank you, Jay. Yeah, it's. I know that a lot of Americans, when you ask them to do an Irish accent, like fiddly dee tee, sure, and I'm like, I don't know where that came from. I'm sure there's probably like one person in Ireland. There's like two people in Ireland. Belfast, right? You have to like extend certain things. It's weird. I've heard it from time to time, and you have to like add extra syllables to words. Certain words get really drawn out, and the like. I don't know. It's not my strength, not yet, but I'll work on it. So yeah, Cork and Dublin is kind of what I do. It's a very generalized sort of thing. I'm trying to imagine where this idea of what an Irish accent sounds like to most Americans, where that came from. And I have to imagine it was because it was like in all the old Warner Brothers cartoons, there'd always be these Irish cops, and they'd come like, sure, Faith and Bagara, and they'd come in and they always sound like that. And there was like, these red-headed people who were like really mocked terribly. From actors who can't do accents, that's entirely possible. We do have a lot of beliefs of how certain people sound based off of actors. I was doing a bit of research on this, and I have to do a little bit more. But from what I could read, the reason why we think that pirates all sound like this, which is almost like an Irish or very similar to like a Bristol or like a rural English countryside dialect. And apparently, the reason for that was like one of the first actors to ever portray Long John Silver in Treasure Planet was from like that Bristol area, and he talked like this. And so they had him play a pirate, and it was, I don't remember if it was a radio play or something like that, or on stage, or maybe in a movie. I have to double check this. But since he was from there, this is the way that he played it. Jim Hawkins, me boy, and that's just how he sounded in his everyday life. And because of that, every time someone went to play Long John Silver or some kind of famous pirate, they always went back to that portrayal and they borrowed that accent as if that was really important. And so apparently everyone thinks that pirates sound like that because of one actor, the actor who made it like the most famous. It's like, imagine if the very first actor ever played Sherlock Holmes had like this really bad lisp, like, actually it's quite elementary, elementary, my dear Watson. Yes, imagine if the very first actor to play Sherlock Holmes talked like this, then it's entirely possible that every person afterwards would play it like this as well, which would be a very strange thing. Also, I naturally wanted to change not just the lisping, which is called an interdental lisp, by the way, because the tongue comes between the teeth like this. That's called an interdental lisp. And then I also wanted to do not th fronting, but I forget the term for it, where you don't pronounce your L's properly. You let the L kind of come forward like this. And then you just bring the lips together. I forget the term for that, but I wanted to add that as well. And that would have created a very strange sounding Sherlock Holmes. Well, not going to do that again. That was weird. Cool. So, yeah. Any other questions? Requests, that sort of thing. Oh, if you hear that sound, that's me mucking about with the deck of playing cards I've got. It's a deck here, brand new deck. Pirate jokes, go! All right, pirate jokes. I mean, I feel like I know a decent number, but a lot of them are pretty common. Let's see, of course, there's a pirate walks into a bar and he's got a steering wheel, like on the front of his trousers, like right at groin level. And the bartender says, "What is that?" And the pirate says, "Arr, it's driving me nuts." There you go. There is lots of jokes. What's a pirate's favorite note when singing? The high C. There you go. That is a proper dad joke. It is. Let's see. There's also things like what did the pirate say when he got his peg leg stuck in a freezer? Arr, shiver me timber. You were asking me for the worst dad joke ever. Boy, I don't really think I know many dad jokes. I think it's more of a dad jokes to me are more of a mentality, and so it's just a way of approaching life. I always hate the joke that I hate. Like I literally want to slap people whenever they do this joke. Is whenever you will say like, "Boy, I am tired," and they'll go like, "Hi, tired. I'm so and so." Like that to me is like I'm just like, that's just why. Why? I'm trying to communicate to you, and you're putting a halt to that communication. I'm trying to express something to you, man, about the way that I feel, about my mental state, and you're just gonna shut that down and throw in a really bad joke in my face. I don't know. I guess that's why. It's because it instantly shuts down communication. Like I was trying to open up to you, and you shut that down. Let's see. Jay says my girlfriend isn't happy because I love horoscopes. In the end, it tore us apart. That's not bad. That's a pun. That's good. Let's see. Oh, hello, Kim. Let's see. The first time I saw you was at Washington State Fair in 2017. Didn't know who you were at the time, but being a Brit living over here, your accent instantly perked up my ears. Was a fun show. Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Kim Leung. Any plans over in Washington? Any plans to go back to Washington? Not at the moment. I am hopefully going to be performing in Portland, Oregon. I know it's not the same state at all. It's quite far, but I don't think it's not like California where it takes like 16 hours to cross the state. I will be performing in Portland, Oregon, which is south of you. That's close enough. Got you. Portland, Oregon. There's this little theater inside of a mall called All American Magic Theater. It's a wonderfully intimate magic space, and I should be there May. Let me double check. May, beginning of May. Hopefully, I hope. May 7th, 8th and 9th is when I'm supposed to be performing in Portland, Oregon at the All American Magic Theater. If you go to my website, magicasianman.com, then you will find a little thing that says upcoming, and that should be on there. There's a ticket link and everything. So yeah, Portland, Oregon, May 8th and 9th, provided that things kind of calm down a bit. We'll see what happens. I mean, this is a very interesting time that we're living in, and I'm trying my best to kind of balance both sides of it, where intellectually I understand that this is... yes, Kim, please have a look. That this is affecting lives, but it is also being reported in a way that may not be the best, but also it's better for us to overreact to this. It's safer for us to overreact than it is for us to underreact. You know, it's kind of like, would you rather have looked back and said, well, the bubonic plague wasn't that big of a deal, like we nipped it in the bud, as opposed to us knowing what the bubonic plague actually did. So it's always safer to just, do that. And also, the other thing is to flatten the curve on this, which someone explained to me the other day. Said, that makes sense. Now I understand why we're doing all this. But however, every time you cancel something, it just adds a little bit more kind of like panic, or a little bit more, it just fuels that machine a little bit more whenever you hear about things being cancelled. And you go, oh, well, this is being cancelled, and what's going to happen? So I get why we have to do it. I just am not a huge fan of the way that we're reacting to everything. But I get it, and I do have. I don't know anyone who's been directly affected, but I have I'm mutual friends with people who say that their loved ones are either suffering from this or have lost somebody to this. So we absolutely have to take this seriously. But it's all about how you react to this sort of thing. So I'm choosing to react to this by trying to put positivity out into the world, and to try to use this time for self-improvement and to create and do things. So yes. Jay, oh, your aunt in California is infected. Oh, well, I'm sorry to hear that, and I hope she gets better. And yeah, we just gotta be smart, react with kindness and that sort of thing. So here we are. And my allergies have just been bad ever since I got back on land. You're very welcome, Jay. So I can hear my rabbit is over there. He's drinking water. There's enough water. Good. Should replace his food soon, and I should probably wash his carpet. Excellent. So we have a yes, Ian, the bun, the bestest bun. He's doing well. So I've got a rabbit. I'm a magician with a rabbit. I'm that guy. He's a white rabbit, and he recently, about 2.5, 3 weeks ago, he had to go in for a procedure, and he had this really nasty looking thing. We thought it was an abscess, and it turned out to just be an infection due to basically a block in his eye, his tear duct, essentially. So they took care of it. It was a lot less expensive than we thought it was going to be, and now he's just chilling. And he also has glaucoma. He's basically blind. Thank you, Jay. I will deliver love to the bun. Yeah, so he's just kind of chilling now. He's in a little bit more of a restricted space because he's blind, basically, and I don't want him running around and getting lost and bumping into things. But I let him wander around. He likes to just kind of stay put. He's a lazy bun. He is almost 10 years old, so he's an old bun. That he is. Cool. So we're at about 23 minutes. I was planning on doing this for about 20 or 30 minutes, just kind of as a first-time trial thing, unless I was, completely overwhelmed with people who wanted to talk or ask questions, that sort of thing. But it looks like, for a first time, this is what this is essentially. It's a bit of a trial to see how it goes, see if anybody's interested in this sort of thing, and if they are, great. Absolutely, we'll maintain it. And if not, maybe I'll change Talkback Tuesdays to something else, and make it more of like a Trivia Tuesday or something, where I just post a little video with me discussing really pointless trivia. So we'll see. Excellent. Or I may even move this over to Facebook, because I don't really know what the trade-offs are to doing this on Facebook or to doing this on YouTube. So we may try it on Facebook next week around the same time. But we'll just have to wait and see. Cool. I feel like that's kind of a good stopping place. It's about 5:30. I've got some plans to just kind of maybe hang out with a couple of mates. We'll see. Try to keep it under 10 people. This was a nice beginning for this one. Well, thank you very much, Kim. I appreciate that. I really do. I was honestly just like, there's probably no one's going to tune in. It's just going to be me twiddling my thumbs for about 20 minutes and maybe just doing a little bit of just people tune in to watch me just kind of like practice with a deck of playing cards, probably. So, excellent. Well, thanks so much for tuning in, everybody, for my first ever Talkback Tuesday. Stay tuned, and I'll announce probably later on in the week or maybe even beginning of next week as to whether I'm going to do this again on Facebook or whether I'm going to do this on YouTube again. If you are not following me on Facebook, go to facebook.com/magicasianman, and that is where you can find me. And you can contact me through there, or I sometimes read my YouTube messages, but not very often. So Facebook's the best way to get a hold of me. But stay tuned to see what's going to happen. And tomorrow will be Word Wednesday, so I'll probably upload a video of me reading some poetry or something like that. But thanks for tuning in, everyone. Stay tuned and stay healthy. Thanks. Now, how do I stop this thing? What's the button? Is it this one? Nope, that's the wrong button. Was it this button? Yes, it's this button.